Oh, hello and welcome to another episode of One Fall WrestleCast. We took a week off. We had some things and some things and some things, and then some things didn't really happen. However, plenty to talk about this week. We're waiting on Derek. Who knows? He's late. Maybe he's coming. Maybe he's not. But Tom and I are just going to have at it. So plenty to talk about. Obviously, Crown Jewel is right around the corner, and they are starting the big build to that. And LA Knight appears to be the guy with the push. Can't wait to dive into this with Tom. Also, is AEW really rated R? I don't know. I'm sure we're going to talk about it. And our buddy CM Punk is in the news. So, we've got some things to talk about. And we can't wait to start with this one right after the fucking intro. Get Tom all loosey-goosey and ready to go. Welcome to the One Fall WrestleCast.
We the ones.
I kind of stole your gimmick, pal. But
ones.
I added to
it
with
together.
you.
It's okay.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a better gimmick if we do it together.
Yeah, absolutely. How you doing, man?
I'm pretty good.
Oh, look at you all lined up and looking sexy. Like,
I was actually just noticing while I was looking at our little intro video there. I'm like, man, how did we get better? We got better looking.
Yeah, 100%. I'm looking a little scruffy today here.
But even like in comparison to the video, we're better looking.
I didn't run a brush through this motherfucker at all today, and then looks like I got hit in the face with a wet cat. But that's neither here nor there.
Wet cat's going.
You, however, got some crispy lines going on.
Yeah, I got the manager of the manager of the Sport Clips is particularly good, and every time she gives me a haircut, I'm like, this is the best haircut I ever had since the last time you gave me a haircut.
The one by me?
No, the one by me, the one on Cochran. Yeah, I've been to the one by you too. They're very good too. There's actually more good ones there, I think.
Yeah. I just don't go there anymore.
Mine, but the GM of mine is like unbelievable. So I just request her, and she just does it now, and it's just.
Yeah, I'm gonna go get myself lined up tomorrow. Like I said, looking a little scraggly here.
Yeah, I mean, you don't look bad with the scraggly. Hey, buddy,
Hey, listen, pal, it's a whole thing.
It's shocking that we we still have hair.
Derek's like 2 or 3 years younger than us, and he looks like he's ready. He's got one step in a nursing home already.
You look like you fall down the stairs for a living. I guess, it's just what happens.
Hey, so not to discount our catching up moments here. We may be able to have a couple of that after the show, I guess. But let's go ahead and let's hop in to some wrestling.
Let's get it.
Hey, so I think that the best news that the IWC could have ever received came across the fucking interwebs this week. Did you know what I'm talking about?
Maybe.
Vince McMahon has officially been removed from creative decision making by TKO CEO Ari Emanuel.
So I wasn't sure if you were going with that or if you were going with CM Punk, but
we'll get the Phil here in a little bit, pal.
Yeah, I just didn't know where you were going to start. That's what I was getting at. It's one, it's very noticeable. Two, it's not shocking. Like, I think Ari Emanuel gets it, and I was pretty certain, unless Vince was like the guy pulling the strings, that there was no chance that he was going to be brushed aside. I'm not shocked at this outcome. I would like to hear Vince McMahon's take on it. Truthfully, I mean, I don't think we're gonna get it.
No,
ever.
absolutely not going to get it. I mean,
But I would
you
love
know,
that. That's what I would love to hear. Like if Vince was like, "All right, so I get to do creative now that all this is done," and they were like, "No, no." Like I want to know if that's what happened. If they were like, "No,"
yeah.
or Vince was just like, "All right, you guys don't need me, right? All right, later." Like I don't know.
Or there's a third part of this too, where it very well may have been Triple H being like, "Hey man, like I'm trying to do things here," and this motherfucker just like pops in on a Zoom call and's like, "Throw the script away, pal."
Yeah,
And that doesn't work for me, brother. Can you help me out here?
I mean, he's my
And
father-in-law.
Ari's
I
just
can't.
like, "Absolutely, sir."
He's like, he was probably like, "Yeah, he's my father-in-law. I can't ask him to stop, but you can tell him to fuck off."
Yeah,
He was
yeah,
like,
and then
"Yep."
we can get back to making fucking money, right? Like,
Yeah. And
listen,
that's all they've been doing is printing money here at the WWE.
crazy. It's crazy. After
Crazy.
what was it? Fastlane. Was that Fastlane that was just the PLE from
Yeah,
2 weeks ago?
yeah.
I guess Triple H said it was the highest grossing event to ever take place in Indianapolis for WWE. Now I find that kind of interesting, considering that not too long ago there was a WrestleMania there.
Yeah. Indianapolis has hosted a lot of big events. Like Indianapolis has been kind of a staple.
That's real inferences and
Sure.
I'm sorry, my internet just fucking shit the bed, and we were both talking, but you were talking about something else that probably made more sense. Go ahead.
Well, so what I was just because you froze. So I was trying to say that Indianapolis is a big WWE town, and yes, they did have a WrestleMania, and they've had a lot of
Yeah.
big shows in Indianapolis because I mean it makes sense, right? It's kind of right smack dab in the middle of the country for the most part, so it's pretty easy to like. I mean, I guess the West has all those big states, but as far as like, it's like kind of smack dab in the middle of the country, and if you're gonna fly somewhere, it ain't too expensive to fly to Indianapolis. I'll just put it that way. I've had
I've recently
in Indianapolis.
in my travels here recently, I've been in the outskirts of Indianapolis. It seemed like a pretty nice little city, man. I don't see why there wouldn't be a place that places would that organizations would want to visit with their traveling roadshow. But I just found that really, really fascinating, though, that, they would come out and say, "Hey, this was the highest grossing event ever to be in Indianapolis, and there's a goddamn WrestleMania that took place there." So, that kind of leads us to believe that what you're saying is correct. It's like, hey, man, they're making money hand over fist. Why would we want Vince to get back involved in that? Because even though he feels that the product was stale and stagnant, we didn't get to talk about that a couple of weeks ago from that all hands on deck production meeting that he held.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, man. I think it's a good thing. I think it's a really good thing for that Ari Emanuel stepped in there and he was like, "Hey, Triple H is the fucking guy. All right. You want to parade around and you want to play fucking CEO of WWE or whatever the fuck his title is now. That's one thing, but stay out of the fucking production room." I thought that was pretty cool.
So I've actually got a hot take on this, and here's how you can tell that Triple H has been in charge of creative for at least the last couple of weeks, is because particularly on SmackDown this week, but like in how he has scheduled things, there has been a lot of petty as fuck moments. And as we know, Triple H likes to take the things that are sort of like the internet like buzzes and then just be petty as hell about it. For example, on SmackDown, Triple H because on the internet they've been like, "Oh, they pumped those boos in for Dominic Mysterio and whatever."
Oh yeah,
And he was out there and he goes, "Wow, this really is loud out here in person. I thought they pumped those boos in." And then, I mean, I don't know if we're going to talk about this later, but his booking of NXT last week, because it was going head to head with a pushed back Dynamite. His booking of that to just he put Cena out there. He just made sure that they absolutely dominated in the ratings.
Yeah. I did plan on talking about that, but since you brought it up, we may as well just go ahead and transition
That's
into
a good
it. I'm
segue
just
because
gonna just assume that Derek's not showing up. So,
yeah. Those are just like for sure, like, oh, Triple H is obviously in charge here because this is exactly what he would do. This is exactly what the Generation X Triple H would do.
Yeah.
To the T. If you were to ask me 2 weeks ahead of time, how would Triple H book this? I would have said he booked it like he did. That's exactly what happened.
And it's really crazy to me that, they pumped NXT up so much and that fucking AEW, Tony Khan really thought that switching, obviously they were preempted because of the kickoff of the NHL season, so they had to kind of skirt around. So,
Thank God for hockey. Thank God hockey's back.
You want to lead a little bit of that what was it, 620 some thousand that viewers that they got on Tuesday night on Dynamite. You want to think that some of that lost audience is because of the day switch. But a lot of the people seem to think that just shows that that's a shared audience. That a portion of that audience is a shared audience, and the larger portion of that AEW audience is the shared audience that also appreciates and respects what WWE does, much like you and I, right?
Buddy, I got to be honest with you. Tuesday night, I had the most fun watching wrestling I've had in a long time because I got to flip back and forth. And
listen, Tuesday's Dynamite was good.
It was. I'm not saying I watched it too. I flipped back and forth between the two products, and I had a wonderful night. I was like, thank God I pay for cable.
Take you back to high school, pal.
What?
Take you back to high school. Middle school.
Exactly. School. It brought back those flavors of high school, middle school, where we're flipping back between Raw and Nitro on Mondays, except I did it on Tuesday. And you know what? I loved it. I loved it just as much as I did 25 years ago. And if they do that again, I would do it again. So, I understand that, from the rating standpoint, they don't want to do that because there's definitely audience overlap and they want to make sure that, they want to make sure that each individual show has as many eyeballs on it as humanly possible. But for my nostalgic fun, because they now, being in our mid-late 30s, our 30 to 40s range, we are the prime demographic. They cater to us. Well, if they want to cater to me, let me press the button on my clicker and flip back and forth between two shows because that's how I watch TV for the first 25 years of my life. And if you're going to give me a little bit of that nostalgia, I'll put it into my schedule.
No, yeah, but here's the wild card about that though too, right? They're talking about moving Monday Night Raw with the new TV rights deal. So they're not opposed to taking Monday Night Raw off of Monday and moving it to a different day, which I find interesting.
That would be insane, right? Let's.
Yeah, I mean,
I heard that too, but nobody really wants the longest
episodic running television show of all time, a staple at that 9:00 hour on Monday. Now, yes, I know that now the show starts at 8, but for all of those years, Monday Night Raw was a staple of the 9:00 hour.
It's been 30 years, 32 years or something like that?
93.
Okay. It's been 30 years.
Yeah. So.
Why was I thinking 91?
No, 93.
93. It's 30 years it's been on Monday night.
So that's really weird. And I couldn't imagine, hey, are you pumped up for Thursday Night Raw?
I don't know that I could say that out loud.
I mean,
think I would still call it Monday Night
strange.
Raw. Even if it was on Thursday, I think I would still call it Monday Night Raw. In fact, that's still how they should market it.
Remember how occasionally they would throw Raw on Tuesday because of the Westminster Dog Show, and it'd be like Monday Night Raw on Tuesday.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. It was because it was still Monday Night Raw, but it was
but Vince and all his branding things and everything's got a brand, pal.
Well, there were a few times where I would have been busy or whatever when the Westminster, so I just wasn't paying attention or I didn't see the commercial or whatever, and I would turn on Raw on Monday as my thumb and brain were wired to do. I would go boop, and it would be dogs, and I would be like, what? What's happening? And I would watch like an hour of the dog show thinking I'm like, it's just going to come on after this. It's just a delay. And I would watch a dog show for like an hour, and then I would be like, Raw's not on tonight. And I would feel really bad about myself, and I would go to bed like so dejected.
Yeah. Those days, it was hard out there, in the Westminster Dog Show days.
Yeah, it was.
It was tough out here. But
Especially
I think that it's I think that it was really good though, like to get a little bit of that competition piece that we're used to, and I thought it was really interesting that like we threw the book at NXT and it did what it was supposed to do. And I mean, we're talking, what was it, like 960,000 viewers for NXT?
There's one clip that was whatever. I think the main event hit 1.2 mil, but yeah, the 960 was like the average for the show.
And then you got like 600 or whatever for AEW on its wrong night. And obviously this created some issues with old birthday boy Tony, who took his frustrations to Twitter this past week.
Because of course he did, because there's nobody there to tell him to stop, just like there's nobody in the AEW locker room to say, hey, maybe don't. Maybe cut that shit out.
Yeah. So my man gets out here on the old Twitter machine and he just starts fucking lighting people up with like these not so subtle jabs, right? Like I regret to inform you.
Shawn Michaels and Triple H bald assholes?
Yeah.
Bald assholes. Yeah.
It was a Curb Your Enthusiasm reference.
Okay.
But we knew what it was really about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, he actually felt that way. Just because he could work a Curb Your Enthusiasm reference in there was fine, but
Listen, Bub, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying that's what it was.
Icing on the cake, really, for Tony.
But the one that got me was when the ratings come out Wednesday morning, right? And my man's like, still just spiked from his birthday celebration, right? And
he hadn't gone to bed yet.
Yeah, he sees the ratings come out, and he's like, oh, they whooped our ass. I just can't believe how bad we got our fucking asses beat here. This is my birthday. Doesn't everybody know it was my birthday? It was Title Tuesday. I made it the best day ever. Put all these people on TV. All the titles were at TV.
We changed titles. We changed a bunch of titles.
Yeah, we did it all. Fuck it. I mean, we got new tag team champions. Ricky Starks is a star. Right? He's with the big Bill because he's fucking Bill, and he's big. Get it? Yeah, they're tag team champions now. I just don't know what you want me to do here. And he's like, you know what? Here's what somebody give me my cell phone. I'm going to Twix. Shout out to Eric Bischoff for finally fixing my problem. He calls it Twix now.
I like it.
I do too. I
like old man Eric Bischoff a lot more than I liked young man Eric Bischoff.
I'm back in a minute ever. Yeah.
I like old man Eric Bischoff. He's like a much calmer, more reserved, well-spoken.
Spit some fucking facts though.
He does. That's the thing, is that he gets that he just starts talking and you're just like, this motherfucker's making a lot of sense. Making a lot of sense right now.
He's like the orange bitters to Jim Cornette's maraschino cherries in the old fashioned of the wrestling world. Because Corny's always got great takes, but he's just sometimes out of his goddamn mind.
I mean, that's always been corny though.
I mean, sometimes it's too much.
I think at this point that's part of the gimmick, and nobody understands gimmicks that are too much, like Jim Cornette.
But anywho, so Bischoff has solved my problem, Twix. Anywho, Tony Khan decides he's going to take Twix on Wednesday morning, and instead of saying, hey, we had a great time, thanks for celebrating my birthday on TBS, he says, hey, man, did you know that for the first time in decades, John Cena and The Undertaker were involved in a show that did less than 1 million views? hey, bud, you got your fucking dick kicked in, okay? At the end of the day, that's really what matters. You know, I mean, Houston beat WVU in the final seconds of that fucking game on Thursday night, but the scoreboard never lies. You lost, bud. Call it what you want to call it.
They don't ask how, they ask how many.
And I can't believe you don't have a little bit more to say about this Twitter rant.
So, God. I was going to come out here and beat on Tony. I really was. But honestly, at this point, I just kind of feel bad for him. Like at this point, he's really just a solid number 2.
There's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong.
Listen, Impact's been a solid number 2 for like 15 years, bro.
And it's rarely been solid. He's a solid number 2, and he really should just embrace how well he's doing. Unless, of course, he spends as much as WWE spends or more to be a number 2. But there was a point in time where TBS was giving WCW 10 times what WWE was spending, and they were still kind of neck and neck or losing in ratings. So, you know, I just don't know. What the fuck is Seth Rollins
and
wearing?
I think a lot of that too is.
Go on. Sorry.
I think a lot of that too is you're good. I think a lot of that too is like, Tony Khan's very much playing the Eric Bischoff business model, right? Where he signed an established talent that WWE has been ready to move on from. To bring eyeballs to his younger talent. But the problem is he keeps bringing in more and more and more established WWE type talent, and he's not giving some of the opportunities that he should be giving to those in the new tier, right? And I mean, if Derek were here, I'm assuming he would argue my case. But I mean, you've got guys like Darby Allin that are getting some TV time. Obviously, MJF's the champion. You can't take anything away from that fucking guy. But Sammy Guevara just kind of did the whole Shawn Michaels Jericho thing with Jericho. But that's really it, right? Like Ricky Starks is finally getting a little bit of a chance here. Now being a tag team champion, because the dude is a fucking legitimate star. Like, he's a star in waiting. He just needs to tweak some things and be a little less Rocky and a little more Ricky, and I think once he finds that fine balance, he's gonna be fucking unstoppable. But
because he's got all the tools.
Yeah. But the argument here is they're just not giving them the opportunity to breathe
and to get over. Like, he needs time.
Yes. Your currency is time. Your currency is television time, and how you spend it matters on what kind of green comes in into your bottom line. And right now, they've got a ton of money sunk in on guys like Adam Copeland. They've got a ton of money sunk in on guys like Christian Cage. A ton of money sunk in on guys like Daniel Bryan, John Moxley. Okay, these are all Claudio. These are all former Samoa Joe.
Chris Jericho,
like all former WWE like tippy top stars,
top guys, yeah, for sure.
Christian maybe not, but like he mattered for a little while. Yeah, he mattered for a little while,
Yeah,
but he's just doing it wrong.
Well, I would argue that Christian's on the run of his career right now. He's phenomenal.
Not taking that. I'm not taking
Christian
anything away from what he's doing right now.
Christian is earning every penny of his pay. I don't know what it is, but he's earning every penny of it. Everybody's surrounding him, maybe not, but Christian himself earning every penny is like between Christian and MJF are really why you should turn on AEW television. They're really the two guys, and Adam Cole, who's hurt, but he's been in everything.
Baby.
Those guys, those three are really the guys you should be turning on AEW for. Samoa Joe also has done very well in the last couple of months. Has really been a star, been a highlight. But other than like those couple of guys that I mentioned, like, yeah, Claudio does stuff and he's on TV and that's kind of okay. But when was the last time we heard Claudio talk? Has he talked in AEW?
Yeah, sometimes. Usually in Blackpool Combat Club things and
In like backstage segments.
I mean, he had a whole ass thing with Eddie Kingston and JR. They did a whole backstage sit down interview thing. So, I mean,
that was but that was a long time ago. That was months ago.
Yeah, like a month and a half ago.
Yeah, like 2 months ago.
I mean, but we really haven't seen too much of Blackpool Combat Club.
I don't even understand why there's still the Blackpool Combat Club. The guy that made it the Blackpool part of it doesn't even work for that company anymore.
Well, it's merchandising, pal. They had already fucking spent the money to fucking trademark it, and then they got it over to fucking Pro Wrestling Tees, to fucking the artwork department. It's just a whole thing. They got to get their money back on it. Like, it's okay. It's okay. You're just being nitpicky for the sake of being nitpicky right now.
You want the smoke.
How good have they been? Anywho, but I just think that following the Eric Bischoff model, there's nothing wrong with it. But I think that if you're going to do that, you need to listen to the man. And I don't think that far too often Tony's real receptive to listening to folks' opinions. Other than his half-assed talent.
The Bucks.
Yeah, how about they called him a money mark in their new bio?
They did?
Yeah, their new Twitter bio, because they're famous for their Twitter bios.
So I've been hiding from Twitter because Spider-Man 2 comes out on Friday and it is rampant with Spider-Man spoilers. So I'm hiding from Twitter. So I've not looked at the Bucks' most recent bio, but also I stopped caring. As pretty much everybody else has about the Young Bucks.
Wow, they're the greatest tag team in the history of AEW.
Maybe they were. I mean, the Von Erichs were at one point. They're all dead now. So
no. There's one left, and he's got two sons that are wrestlers. They wrestle for MLW. Last I knew.
There's a Von Erich left.
Yeah, there's one brother left.
That's insane.
And he's got two boys that are tag team, young boys, up and comer. They look pretty good too.
Gotta say, the Texas Tornado really wrestled without like half a leg for a decade, and nobody really knew.
Hey, he won the NWA championship in that state, if I remember correctly.
Sure did.
It was after, I think it was after his WWE run,
and nobody knew. Yeah. I mean, some people knew, but like I didn't find out till well after he was gone that. Like, holy shit, that guy was missing a leg?
Yeah, I think that became common knowledge in like the last fucking 5 years, right? Like,
yeah.
But anyways, man, I just think that it's really, really interesting to see that like the pressures. Tony's feeling the pressure here. You continue to see the IWC share pictures from fucking Collision and Dynamite, all the empty sections. Ticket sales clearly appear to be floundering. Ratings are down across the board, and you start your fucking C show on Friday in a picture-in-picture.
Ooh, they did? I mean, I don't watch Rampage because...
They did. Now, you could look at this one of two ways.
Hey, by the way, Rampage and Collision are coming to Pittsburgh November 25th, which is a Saturday.
I'm into that, and I wanted to discuss that with the two of you, but we can do that. We can do that later. Yeah, so they started Rampage off on Friday in picture-in-picture. So I noticed it, got a little chuckle out of it. Well, I wasn't the only one that noticed it. The internet noticed it too. But here's the thing. It's SmackDown season premiere. Okay. They're going to run over. Was that a decision to pay some bills when you knew nobody was going to flip the channel anyways?
I didn't think about that, I guess. Absolutely it was. They were like, yeah, SmackDown's still going to be going on. Just start it in picture-in-picture. Now, whether or not that was Tony's call or that was the network's call, really is the crux there. And do we have any thoughts on that?
I've got to feel like from where I'm sitting, that would have to have been a network decision, right? Because I don't think I think Tony's too volatile to concede anything to WWE, and we've learned that tenfold this week with his Twitter reactions to everything pertaining to Tuesday night.
Yeah. Now I would agree with that. Because that was my thought too. It was like, ooh, Tony's gonna be pissed. Because I didn't watch it live, but I know I saw that on the internet, and I was like, oh, Tony's gonna be pissed, or Tony is pissed. He probably, because I mean, he knew second that it happened, I'm sure, but yeah.
I don't understand. Everybody loves Rampage. What are you doing? The fucking Friday Night Rampage. What are you doing now? Everybody wants Rampage. I talk about Rampage all the time. Rampage. This is the show, man.
It's the best show on television. It's the best show on TV.
What the fuck is in picture in picture trying to pay some bills? I'm trying to get a wrestling show over here. Come on. I don't know, man. I just what do you think the viability is moving forward for AEW?
I can't see Rampage not at least going away at this point. Am I wrong? Like, I mean, like Rampage needs to go the way of Sunday Night Heat at this point, just or Saturday night's main event, and you know those shows that just didn't cut your losses, right? Like just let it go.
So I have an opinion on that with as far as Rampage is concerned. It's not really costing them anything, right? Like they're already on the road. They're already filming things. They're already recording shows. Ring of Honor most of the time. You know what I mean? Like they're already out. They're doing their thing. They do their live show. They do a tape show. Rampage doesn't really cost anything. The talent's already there. You know, some of those guys you get to see twice in one night, which is always a shot in the arm. And it's probably doing better ratings that it's 400,000 every Friday, 300,000 every Friday than whatever fucking C show movie or C Squad movie, that action movie that TBS or TNT, whatever fucking network Rampage is on these days, would be airing at that time. So,
yeah, it's probably doing better than Kindergarten Cop would.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So like there's I feel like there's a place for that Friday night late show. I think that us as wrestling fans would like it to be a little more substantial.
I would like it to be earlier, if I'm being honest. If it came on at 7, remember when Sunday Night Heat came on at 7, especially when we were kids?
Yeah.
Like, and particularly because like pay-per-views were on Sunday, so like Sunday Night Heat was the lead into the pay-per-view.
Right. That's also Sunday at 7:00 when you're expecting everybody to be home, as opposed to 7 on a Friday when most people are sitting in a restaurant eating dinner with their fucking families.
Right.
You know, I can see why it's on at 10:00.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, like, if they moved it to like Sunday night or something, like it's already taped, right?
Yeah.
It's just if they moved it, if they kept it but moved it to Sunday night at 7, I feel like that. Hell, I would watch it more if it was on, because I'm home.
Yeah.
Like I'm here Sunday at 7, like everybody else is here Sunday at 7. Just put it on. You know, make it a family friendly, not family friendly in the way, but like, you know, don't put John Moxley out there. Don't let him bleed. Don't just have it go out there. God, that was like, I feel like Sunday Night Heat, particularly, at the crux of the Attitude Era, that's really where we saw those mid-card guys, and like the European title was always on the line, and you know, we saw like Gangrel come out and do his Gangrel thing. Exactly. Wow. And it was great because like you tuned in for that, because it's like you want to tune in, you want to see D'Lo, you want to see, and they could do that with they could do that. They got a bunch of those guys. They could do that with those guys. That's where you put your Chuck Taylors. That's where you put your guys like that. The guys that are still going to draw eyeballs. Huh?
You got to give the people what they want.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like you put it on at 7:00 on a Sunday. I'm awake. I'm home. I'm not doing shit. I'll put it on. Like you put it on at 10:00 on a Friday. If I'm home and I just watched SmackDown, maybe I'm going to bed. Maybe that's the end of it for me. Or maybe on Friday I'm already out and I'm not coming back at 10 o'clock to watch a show. From home, I'm probably getting ready to go to bed. I'm going to watch stream something else so that I can pass out to it. I'm not like I don't know. It just seems like it seems like a poor choice. Seems like a really poor time slot in 2023.
Well, yeah. I mean, and I think we all kind of knew that going into it, but I think that there's a natural
show of us all being like, who the fuck's going to watch this shit at 10 p.m. on a Friday?
Right. But there's still also a built-in audience there that's like, oh, well, I didn't go out this week and I watched SmackDown and still got a couple beers left here.
I mean, I've been that guy. I'm not
saying we've all been that guy. So like it serves a purpose. But I think that it does better business, like I said, than Kindergarten Cop. I love that.
It's great, but I've seen it like 8 times.
Vagina and boys have a penis.
Exactly. Can't say that on television anymore.
Who's your daddy and what does he do?
Who's your daddy and what does he do?
Okay, Kindergarten Cop's low-key underrated, all right? Like, come on, man. It's not a tumor.
It's not a tumor. Stop it. So many good sound bites from that movie. Like that movie in and of itself is all of the good Arnold sound bites.
Yeah.
A little bit Jingle All the Way.
Yeah. Oh shit. Anywho, but I think that it's probably doing better business than that type of movie in that time slot. So I don't see how that's a problem to TNT, TBS, AEW, because again, it's really not.
Well, if anything, I think that actually kind of screws AEW because they're just like, because Tony would probably ask, "Can we move this to Sunday at 7?" And TBS would be like, "No, I love what it's doing on Friday night." And he's like, "Okay,
yeah, but I don't, and I want to make it better." Oh, well, just make it better on Fridays. He's like, yeah, I don't want to do that. So, like, if there's desire to want to make that show better, and it is what you're saying that it is, and obviously we don't know, we're not in the room, but if there's desire to make that particular hour of television better, and you want to move it to a different day, I'm all in favor of both of those things. But I think in order for it to get any notoriety, it needs to start being better first.
Yeah.
Before you can look to change where it lives. Because the show's just not great.
It's not good.
Sometimes it scratches that itch. Most times.
Like I said, I'm not going to say that I haven't absolutely turned it on at 10 o'clock sometimes when I'm like, well, I'm not ready to go to bed yet, and I'm just fucking around, mulling around, and it's like, oh, hey, there's wrestling on TV. Boop. I mean, that doesn't happen to me during when there's I don't know, when there's when it's hockey season, and I'm like, oh, it's very situational.
I'm 1,000% watching the late night hockey game, like the Sharks and
the Kraken,
the Sharks and the Kraken or fucking whatever. Like I'm 100% watching that before I'm watching anything else that's late night on television.
Yeah, absolutely. Like that's what I'm turning on first. And I think that's really its contention is that what happens when there's other sport and I guess on Friday there generally isn't. I'm not a big NBA guy. I know the NBA will play on Fridays too, but yeah, when hockey's on, it's like, oh, is there hockey tonight? There's always hockey tonight.
See, the NBA, much like Major League Baseball, only matters when it matters, right? But hockey matters all the time.
The time. Every day, every moment, every second, every goal, every penalty, it matters.
All the time.
And I have consumed as much of it as humanly possible since it started because I've missed it. And truthfully, I'll tell you what, I'm a better man for it.
Yup.
Absolutely. I'm a better man for it.
Yup.
That's it's just my opinion.
Yup. So I don't know, man, but I think to continue on our AEW pathway, I think that he's running that Eric Bischoff formula, but he's not running it proper. And then we go out and we spend all this fucking money on somebody like Edge. I'm sorry, Adam Copeland, okay, to come in and do some work, and it's just the same thing, but
And
it's less than.
We're getting less than a retirement run, Adam Copeland. I'm so thankful to be here. Thanks to everybody for being so supportive. Like that's
And
lame.
it's as a lifelong fan, it's goddamn disheartening to see these still pictures of him during his entrances where 3/4 of the fucking arena is curtained off.
And they're all around because they're there. That's where it's quartered off too.
To me, it feels like we sat there in Pittsburgh in those seats, and they were great seats, by the way.
They were. Yeah.
But this is his equivalent of a high school gym.
It is. If I buy $20 seats to this Pittsburgh Collision Rampage taping, regardless of who's there, because there are $20 seats, are they going to move me to
like they did our first Dynamite?
Yeah,
and we were in some like ultra premium seats too.
Buddy, we were on TV.
Yeah,
we were. We were in. Hey, we're facing the hard cam seats.
Everrise rules. Oh man, Daddy Magic turned around real quick when I yelled that. It was just pitch quiet. Like you could have heard a pin drop in the arena when they were out there. And then here you got my big ass mouth. Everrise rules. Daddy Magic was like, "Oh, sorry, pal. Sorry about it.
Sorry about it. It's
what? That needs to be the new One Fall WrestleCast T-shirt. Sorry about it.
Sorry about it.
Because you and I both say it a lot, mostly in conjunction with shutting Derek up.
He's not here. I'm kind of missing him right now, actually.
Yeah, I just sent him a text message like 10 minutes ago.
Like, I was really hoping like he would show up around 9.
Yeah, me too.
But I think he went to bed.
Because then we could have ridiculed him for a little bit, and got right back on task here.
Yeah, but I think he went to bed at 9:17.
I mean, he was active on the old Book of Face here a little while ago, but it does not appear.
I feel like I should turn on my Xbox and see if he's playing Xbox.
Well, I mean, if that's the case, the three of us are going to have a little discussion. But I don't know, man. It's just.
I can find out on here.
If he's going to do this, right, if he's going to come to AEW to go on his little retirement run, I think that we need to see something different, right?
If he's going to let Christian tell him to go fuck himself, is that what you're saying?
Yes, go fuck yourself. It was fantastic, by the way.
Go fuck yourself. Yeah, I mean, Christian stole a spotlight, right? Am I not wrong?
I would say that you are accurate.
Yeah, I mean, he totally stole, and maybe that's the point. Maybe that's why Adam Copeland is there, to give Christian the rub that he so deserves.
Yeah, but I think he was doing just fine without Adam Copeland.
Oh, she sure was. I'm grasping at straws. I really am. Like that was a straw grasp right there. It really was. But man, it just doesn't. I hope they prove me wrong, but so far, we're looking right, buddy. Like, we were just like, man, if he actually went there, it would just be such a taint to his legacy. So far, that's what it's looking like.
First couple weeks have not been promising. And you know what? And I'm sure that I'm just being extra critical just because of the fact of my fandom of the Edge character and the body of work of one Adam Copeland over the last 20 some odd years of WWE career, 25, right? But man, it's just not it.
No, it doesn't feel. I mean, maybe it'll turn around, and it's entirely possible. I'm sure he's got buku creative control. Maybe it'll turn around.
I sure hope
But
so.
I do too. Because look, if it turns around and it's great, that's only good for us. Like, I don't want it to fail. I just think it's gonna, because I've watched lots of AEW and I've watched lots of things fail. So that's really just where I'm at right now.
Yeah. You know, and I saw something on the internet, the old interwebs yesterday that was like, hey, can we just get CM Punk back on the roster? Ratings are falling. Attendance is dropping. Rated R
Let him beat people up. It doesn't matter.
Rated R Superstar is not the answer to the CM Punk dismissal. You know, blah 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 blah. And it's like, he wasn't supposed to be, pal. Wasn't supposed to be.
I mean, for in Tony Khan's mind, he was probably the answer to the CM Punk dismissal. Like, but it's not going to be. It's just not the same. It's just not the same. And it's not.
Oh, it's the same. It's just less than.
Yeah, and it's because now there's just nobody. I don't know how to put this, because it's like one of those things where it's like I would prefer if it was just him and then he came out and was a bastard, because like that's the thing. Like Edge comes out and is like, I'm so thankful to be here. Or I'm sorry, Adam Copeland. See, you've done it, now I've done it. He's like, I'm so thankful to be here. I'm so happy. It's so nice. Blah blah. Like, I don't want that guy. That's not Edge. That's not his character. That's not the guy that got over.
No, and
maybe that's who he is in real life, and that's great. But you're playing a character.
Yes.
Fuck off. If Randy Orton came out and did that, I would boo him.
Maybe babyface Adam is what needed to happen for the transition. And maybe, you know, like you said, it's going to get better. And maybe when it gets better, we'll get Rated R Superstar.
Mm-hmm. There's nothing Rated R about. No. I'm so glad to be here. Like, why would they even be like Rated R Adam?
And there hasn't been anything Rated R about him, you know, in this last run in WWE either. It was very much, hey, like I'm not fucking supposed to be here, but I'm here. We're gonna have some fun. And like, it was definitely nostalgia. But if you're gonna take that moniker with you, I think you better do something with it. It needs to mean something to that AEW audience, and in order for it to mean something to them, right? Like, in order for you to be to mean something to them is what I mean to say. But he just hadn't done that yet, and maybe after he goes through this program with Christian, and you know, he'll see the master manipulator pieces of his character will come back, and we'll actually get some Rated R Superstar. But right now, we just got happy to be here. My name's Adam. Let's go out and do a nice piece of business. Like, I'm good on that guy. I've been seeing that guy for the last year. That you want to show me
that guy was a piss break in WWE. Like, he's not. I'm not turning on TV for him.
You want to show me that you still have something left in the tank? Then fucking show me you still have something left in the tank.
I don't know that he does. I mean, I'm not saying he's got to go out and wrestle and be a dick every night, but like, it would be real nice if he just do what he's really good at, which is be a dick, because he's not a good babyface.
Well, he is now, because he's like married with 2 kids, and like he's the picture perfect father that the internet loves to adore. But way back when, he was a terrible human being. And that's whenever I enjoyed him at his best.
He was our favorite terrible human being. He was MJF. He was our scumbag. Because he was a fucking scumbag.
He was definitely my scumbag.
He was a fucking scumbag. But he's not. I'm such a good father. Yeah, we know. Fuck you. Your children are crying as you get your ass beat in the stand. We get it. We see. We understand. That ain't the guy, man. It's like when the Undertaker comes out and is Hi, my name's Mark. It'd be like if the Undertaker. That's exactly what it'd be like if the Undertaker showed up and was like, "Hi, my name's Mark." We'd be like, "What? What? You're not dead?" Didn't sit up.
Yeah. Speaking of Mark, did you see the picture of Mark meeting Jade at NXT on Tuesday?
Yeah, I did. I did indeed. She met everybody and took a picture. Saw all the pictures. She met John Cena.
Man, they're getting ready to strap. They got that rocket strapped in. They're doing fine.
I hope she can wrestle, or I hope they at least put her in the ring with people that can wrestle. I think that like somebody can lead her through a good wrestling match.
They're all systems are not quite go yet. They're running their final check throughs. Are we a go, no go for launch? And I think as soon as we get green lights across the board, we're going to see her, and we're going to see her in a big fucking way.
She's going to squash Natty first. That's the first thing that's going to happen.
Guaranteed. I don't know, though. They've been kind of like low-key pushing Natty, you know.
They just squashed her tonight.
Did they? Okay, that's
good. She's going to squash Natty. That's the first thing that's going to happen. It's either going to be her, Natty, or Zelina Vega.
Well, I mean, Natty's the measuring stick, though. I think that
I'm just saying
everybody
the first
works with
one.
Natty.
I mean, look, she's going to beat Natty. That's going to happen. She's going to get 5 minutes with Natty. She might squash Zelina Vega in like 2 minutes.
Poor Zelina. But, you know, she's like Alexa Bliss, man. Like, she's just so goddamn small.
Yeah. And Zelina got beat by Bailey on Friday.
That's what I'm saying. Like, look how big Bailey looks compared to Zelina. Like, Bailey's not a big girl, you know? Like, man, I really want Zelina to be good, but she's so tiny.
She's so little. She's like 100 pounds. And look,
she is good, though. She's good.
She's in fantastic shape. And she can manipulate, like, she can manipulate any portion of her body to twist any which way and be just everything looks good. Her spelling is great. Her, like, you know, reversal Hurricane Rana's things, like all that looks great, is great. She's great at it. But you're right. She's like,
you want to know what her best weapon in the ring is?
No. The mic. Oh yeah, no, she's great. Yeah, that's the other thing.
They don't let her do that enough.
They really have not let her do it much. Like when she was with Andrade, and they just let her. They would let her go, and she would just go, and he would just stand there and be like, and it was great every time because he could wrestle. He can't talk clearly.
He's getting better.
He's getting better. I mean, his English is getting better. I mean, he's married to Charlotte now, so that's. Cool. Wait, is that not a thing? Is he about to be her fourth ex-husband? Is that 3, 4?
I don't know.
Maybe Charlotte should talk for him. I don't know what you're saying.
All I'm saying is that the internet would tend to disagree with your take that Andrade and Charlotte are still married and very much a thing. You know, so I don't know. Like he's gotten much better from the standpoint of being able to talk. I think it's out of necessity, being as he's kind of on his own in the old AEW space. You all right there, pal?
I'm fine. I just had to put. I was barged in upon. I'm fine. Damn. After I asked him not to.
Damn. I heard that door open and you just fucking got the old dad Hulk going on real quick.
Yeah.
Sons of bitches. Never run. Listen to fucking right? Is that how that gets? See? Oh shit! I almost knocked my whiskey bottle over. I love it. It's great. I was on the phone with one of my bosses today, and me and the boy were hanging out. He comes over. He's like, "Dad, can I have this?" I said, "No, bro. You didn't eat your fucking dinner." And my boss starts laughing. He's in his 70s, right? And he goes, "Glad to see after all these years, not much has changed." He said, "Sounds like you got your hands full. I'll talk to you later, big guy."
Well, at least no. I'd asked him nicely not to, but it's okay. It's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine. You look great, but you look great.
Thank you. I'm trying. I'm trying to be a distinguished looking human. I mean, I got a haircut for the first time in like 3 months, but you know, I'd kept it up. It got too much, so it was time to get it crisped up. So thank you.
So, for me, man, you know, I really wish Derek was here though, so I could tell him that I was right and that he was wrong, because this whole Adam Copeland thing's just not working for me, brother.
I mean, it could turn around. Let's maybe just give it time. But you're right. The introduction has been kind of a wet fart for me. So, you know, here's to hoping it turns into something I want to watch.
Hey Tom, did you hear the news from this week?
I mean, I heard a lot of news this week. What news are you referring to, sir?
Hey, Phil was in Orlando.
Oh yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, so that must mean that he's working out at the PC, huh?
Except it doesn't.
Yeah, are you sure? That's the only thing of note that could possibly be in Orlando that somebody would go to.
Right? It's not like it's a major airport hub.
What?
And that's how you go to fucking Disney World. I don't know.
No, Disney World's not there.
Yeah, no, nobody would go. You're right. It's in Kissimmee.
Oh,
still, Kissimmee doesn't have an airport.
But Kissimmee's still considered Orlando. But I mean, what? No, it couldn't have been. He was at Universal, right?
Oh, right. That actually is in Orlando.
Yeah, that is.
But no. Why would he go there? It's not like he's some dork Harry Potter fan or anything.
Yeah, I mean, when, you know, God forbid that the man travels, you know.
Yeah, right. God forbid he goes to Orlando,
yeah,
which is only a city that everybody's gone to.
I mean, I've been there. I went there twice last year.
I feel like I've been to Orlando more than I've been to any other city in the United States.
False. You've been to Pittsburgh more than you've been to any other city in the United States.
Other than Pittsburgh, which is the city in which I live. Although now that I think about it, I may have been to Weirton more, only because it's like Steubenville, Weirton, Pittsburgh, Weirton, Steubenville. But you know, anyway.
Yeah, I know. It's a vicious cycle. Anywho, I don't know, man. Like, I guess it's come out that WWE has no interest in Phil, and now Phil's still dropping hints on his MMA show that he commentates, that he's a free agent here, you know, this, that, and the third. Do we think that WWE is kayfabing here and they are talking to Phil?
No. I think WWE, if they were talking to Phil, they wouldn't say anything. The fact that we got people that came out and said no. And then Dave Meltzer reported, and we can take this with a grain of salt. This actually might mean that Phil's going to WWE, and like he might show up tonight. Who knows? But Dave reported that WWE believes that they can get Phil anytime they want to, but they don't need him, nor do they need any of the drama that comes along with him, and therefore they have declined indefinitely.
I mean, that does sound legitimate, right? But
and that sounds like what, because let's put it this way. We've put Triple H in charge of creative, which also puts him in charge of who the talent is. And they don't like each other. No. Triple H, I'm sure, still holds a grudge. I'm certain.
Yeah. I bet you Phil still holds a grudge, though, too.
Absolutely.
I think Phil is more likely to have a grudge than Paul.
Right. I think Paul just thinks. I think Triple H just thinks about this as like, No, he can be somebody else's problem. I don't want to deal with him. And that's probably where and he probably doesn't want to make Shawn Michaels deal with him either. Although Shawn Michaels did come out and say that he has no problem with him and he would be happy to welcome him into NXT. But that also sounds like a Triple H like jab as well.
Yeah, like
hey, you want to be in on our under show? You can hang out with Shawn.
Yeah.
And Shawn's like, I don't care. Like that sounds like that actually sounds like the two of them. Now that I've said it out loud and thought through it in my head, it's like they thought about that and they were like, let's just take these stances.
I mean, Phil would obviously not go work at NXT. I mean, right? Like,
I mean, it's a better I mean, maybe as the like general manager or something, but I don't know.
The general manager? Come
Give
on.
him the William Regal role.
Come on, bro. That's disrespectful. That's goddamn disrespectful. We wouldn't have war games anymore. We'd have pipe bomb cages.
Pipe bomb games.
War games. Even though War Games is now Survivor Series stable. Thank you, Triple H. Because it's coming back this year. They're already setting that shit up. It's going to be big time, too. Roman's going to be in War Games.
Oh, Roman's definitely going to be in War. Well, Roman was already in War Games. They already did that.
Yeah, last year. They did last year. Yeah.
Yeah, last year. But yeah, I'll see it again. I'll watch it again. It was great last year. I love War Games.
I do too.
War Games.
Love it. Ooh, maybe we'll get a Regal War Games here because we're outside of that window. I think that he was allowed to appear on television. I think it was like 365 days.
We're getting close.
So we may get a War Games. Even if it's in a video package, man, like I'm into it. He didn't even need to appear and say it; just his voice on the video package. It's all I need.
Okay, yeah, exactly. sorry. I got a text and I went, no, I just want to see his. I don't need to see his face, although I'd prefer to see his face.
Yeah, 100%.
But to just have him go, War Games, great. They could even really, what they'll probably do is just like trace out old footage of him saying, War Games. But whatever.
That'd be all right, though. I'd be into it. 1,000% be into it. So, Phil's definitely not coming back to WWE.
Right? No, fuck no. Phil's going to be 50 before they're like, maybe we should call CM Punk. And he's going to be like, I'm old. What the fuck?
I'm old and I hurt and I'm tired and I work with fucking children.
Well, everybody will be a child to him at that point because he'll be 50 and everybody that was in
April. Telegraph Paul, please. Listen.
Telegraph Paul. Telegraph Paul.
Bye-bye, Phil. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, well, it was fun while it lasted.
Yeah, was it though? Yeah, I mean it was.
I think it
gave
was.
us shit to talk about. Hey, so I wanna. A couple weeks ago, we did a show, and we said, "Hey, is WWE dropping the ball with LA Knight?" And I think that we all kind of came to an agreement that no, they weren't, and that we realized that right now might not be the best time.
Also, he had COVID. Like there was like a 2-week period where it was like why aren't they pushing LA Knight? Oh, because he has COVID and he's homesick. That's why we haven't seen him, and that happened too. But we didn't know that. We weren't supposed to know that. But then the internet figured it out, and they spilled the beans. But like after the fact, like after he came back.
So he finally gets his chance in front of the fucking Tribal Chief on SmackDown this weekend. I felt so big.
He stood like, and he stood there like he really like stood there like he was supposed to be there.
Big.
Right? He stood there like he was supposed to be there.
I was giddy, bro. Like how big it felt. And then I was overcome with great doubt and great sadness.
Because you realized Crown Jewel's coming up, and
they're going to feed him to Roman Reigns.
Yeah, they absolutely are. That's what's coming. Hey, John Cena's probably going to be there, though.
Hey, but listen, here's the thing. So the internet did have a suggestion. Hey, let's ride this. Okay, let's get some Solo in Roman versus LA Knight, John Cena, main event Crown Jewel. No one-on-one title match.
I don't think the Prince of Saudi Arabia is happy with that.
I like that.
But you're not the Prince of Saudi Arabia.
I like it.
He wants to see Yokozuna versus Hulk Hogan.
Listen, I want that. Okay? And then give me more dueling microphones for the next couple of months. And I really like how they're making sure that everybody's stepping to Roman right now. Cody stepped to Roman. LA Knight stepped to Roman. Kevin Owens stepped to Roman. So are we building some multiple storylines going into the Rumble here?
Hopefully.
Like, is that what's happening? All I know is SmackDown was can't miss on.
It was great.
Friday. Can't miss.
It was the season premiere.
Yeah, you open up with that fucking Roman Reigns, John Cena segment. You know, Cena opens the show, and then here comes fucking Roman Reigns. He's like, listen, if you're going to open my show, you're going to do it the right way. Tulsa, Oklahoma, acknowledge me. You know, like, and it's been like a month and a half, and that's just instantly I'm like, maybe it's true what they say. Absence does make the heart grow fonder.
Roman really commands an audience, and I don't know that he always did, but this Tribal Chief run is just like, oh, he actually had it the whole. Did he have it the whole time actually? And now we're just here like. We just watched the bad creative, but now that like he's shown himself to be the man.
I'm very much in the school of thought that, you know, everybody's complaining about the lack of the Universal Championship being on television. Roman never defends the belt. This is the Workers' Championship. I'm Seth freaking Rollins. Whoa. Right? And listen, I'm not discounting Seth. He's one of my favorite fucking performers ever. Like,
man,
I've had a problem with a part-time champion in the past, but I think Roman not being there all the time makes him bigger.
Well, and too, because it's not just him. Like we got Jimmy. Jimmy was on a great run for the last month and a half.
Yeah.
Jimmy,
and then he got put right in this place.
Exactly. They were like, Jimmy, what we're gonna do is we're gonna have you be a dick on television. He's like, I can do that, Oos. And then we're gonna act like while you're doing this, Roman may or may not be happy about it. And that's going to be the overwhelming aura around all of it. And Jimmy was like, so I get to be a chooch on TV? And then that happened for a month and a half. And it was gold.
It was really good.
It was like, I would have never, if you would have told me splitting up the Usos is going to make both shows really good because of the Usos, I'd have been like, but they're the greatest tag team ever. Why would you split them up? They're tremendous. Nope, wrong. I was wrong.
Questionable Monday night booking, putting the tag titles on Jay and Cody, though. I'm not into this.
I'm skeptical. I don't know that I'm not into it. I'm skeptical. I like how it got there. I don't necessarily like how they're holding them up to like main event standards. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As a tag team, it's like, oh, he's a main event. It's like the second coming of The Rock and Stone Cold as a tag team champion, and it's not that.
Or the
But-
Rock and Sock connection, and
or the
it's
Rock
not that.
but it's not that. Yes, yeah, like that. It's that kind of thing, but it doesn't feel. It feels a little too forced.
It feels real forced, pal. Like it feels real forced. Like
I mean, all that stuff feels forced, but like
it's a circle and a square trying to create a fucking bigger square. You know what I mean? It's not doing it. It's not doing it. It's not the one. They the two.
Well, hopefully it'll just go real fast, and
I sure hope so, man.
Look, it's been a really long time since the New Day has held the titles, and I feel like that's what, like, the New Day needs to just pick them up and let's go, because I'm starting to need some more New Day with some gold here. So.
Nah, I think it's time to start looking at some new up and coming tag team talent.
Like my boys in Pretty Deadly. I really like that. Actually, I really like those guys.
I like them a lot.
In fact, Brian Alvarez just said they sucked, so that actually makes me like them more. Sorry, Brian Alvarez. Fuck you.
You don't like that guy. He doesn't like anybody.
I mean, I think I'm blocked on Twitter, but or Twix.
See, it's just makes sense, right?
It's better than Twitter /X or Twitter or X or like that, whatever stumbly bumbly nonsense that it is. But yeah,
shout out to Bischoff. Shout at giving me an alternative. I'm gonna try to work it in. Try to work it into the close here.
I've been watching a lot of the early Dark Side of the Ring, and Bischoff's on kind of all of them in the first season.
Yeah,
and I'm like, oh yeah, Bischoff's great. I really dig him.
Those guys had a falling out with a lot of big names. Bischoff, Jim Ross, Bruce Pritchard. They're all like, yeah, fuck those guys.
Yeah.
So
stuff's be good though.
Listen, I'm gonna kind of keep the focus of this on LA Knight, right? So I feel like the time is not now. I think that we all thought the time is now, but it's just not.
And now he's not the guy to take it off Roman. Not at this point. He's not the guy to take it off of Roman.
No, it's got to be Cody, right?
It's got
to be Cody. It's got to be Cody or Gunther.
I mean, and we haven't even chipped that iceberg yet. So, is it going to be a 3,000-day reign for Roman? Are we going to have that?
No, WrestleMania 40. I think we finish the story at WrestleMania 40.
I think so too. But, if it ends up not finishing and it's going to be Gunther, it is what it is.
Yeah, but I said something in the chat, and I want to get your opinion on this before we take us out. The way that Cody has been positioned in the WWE since his comeback, and the way that Jade Cargill has already been positioned without ever even stepping foot in front of a live audience yet. What kind of leverage power does that give WWE for somebody like, I don't know, an MJF
so
here pretty soon?
We can go into the bidding war of 2024. No, absolutely. And you're totally right, especially because they can bring up all the stuff that flops with MJF, which there's about to be more of, because they're pushing him to be more of a like on-screen guy all the time.
Yes, and he's
they need him.
Working into this like weird tweener baby face.
Yeah, it's like
it's working.
He's a scumbag. He's a scumbag, but he's our scumbag. Like that's like –
I mean, it's working because it's him, but
right. I mean, anything would work with him.
I'm
like,
picking up what you're putting down, though.
Yeah, it's just in Triple H's WWE, they'd let him open the show. They'd let him open the show with LA Knight against LA Knight. Oh my God. They'd let him open the show with Cody Rhodes, the Codester, his buddy, and they just let him go. Now, I mean, language he'd have to tone down, but as far as what he'd be able to do, I mean, Adam Cole and MJF is like, for us, we're sort of grasping at straws here. We're just kind of like, okay, this is good because both these guys are good and they're like the two good guys in this promotion, but like that's really the only good reason to watch is because they're doing their best and they're out there to do their best. They're those kind of guys. But what if they had the proper machine behind them? How good could it be? What if MJF had the proper machine behind him? And I think that's what you're getting at, is that like what they're showing with Jade Cargill, what they showed with Cody, is that, look, if you can prove to us in this secondary promotion that you are the guy, regardless of how good or bad their booking is, because it's bad and we know it's bad, but you are the guy.
You went there.
We will treat you as though you are the guy when you get here, and we'll make it a big deal and give you the reins and let you show us why you're the guy with this machine behind you.
So then why didn't they give Nick Aldis that same chance?
I don't know that I can't say that I've been in the room with that, but how old's Nick Aldis? He's pretty
43. I believe he's 43.
That's why. And truth be told, maybe Nick Aldis doesn't want to take the bumps that LA Knight wants to take. You know what I mean?
Well, the interview that he just did with Chris Van Vliet not that long ago would suggest otherwise.
But, and I mean, I don't know what the long-term booking is, but I really liked what happened on Friday.
I did too.
And I understand where you're coming from, and it's a solid argument, and I'm glad you brought it up, because it's certainly something we should put a pin in and be able to come back to and say, did they do it this way or did they fuck it up? But as for night one, I was into it. And I think that it could kind of go either way, where if he decides at 43 he really just wants to be on TV and not really take a lot of bumps, even if he wrestles sometimes, because there's been plenty of GMs that have wrestled sometimes.
Yeah.
But if that's where we got Zoe Stark and wow, this is crazy.
I can't wait for the Nick Aldis, Paul Heyman on-screen relationship.
Never hadn't thought about it, but now yes. Yes, sir.
I'm glad that we're finally here with like the authority figure things, but Adam Pearce has done a fucking bang up job, and like I think that there's a lot of truth to what Triple H said in the ring on Friday, right? Like Adam Pearce has done a bang up job as that on-screen guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean he's
for years
he's a backstage guy too. Like that's a shoot.
Yeah.
He's a WWE official. Like that's a shoot. So I think he does it. I think that a lot of that was very, very truthful statement. Hey, like he's killing it, but now he just needs to worry about doing this shit on Mondays. You know what I'm saying? Being on screen on Mondays, perhaps. But I think Nick, dude, I think he did a really good job with the way that he presented himself. With Chelsea Green. God, how good has she been since her WWE comeback?
Tremendous. Like 5 out of 5 stars. I don't know what else to say. Great. Amazing.
I've had this bottle of fucking Angel's Envy my wife bought me. I opened it on my birthday 2 years ago.
It's gone now. Well, it's going to be. It's getting there.
I know that because I wrote on it right there. Hey man, big things though. I can't wait to see where Mondays and Fridays go. With bringing back an authority figure, I think that'll be fun. Obviously LA Knight, big time push. Just sucks that he's going to get fed to Roman. I hope we get a couple months out of it. I really like some of the things they're doing. I can't wait to hop off here, turn on the overhead over here, and start Monday Night Raw over and enjoy the season premiere, from which I've heard Michael Cole is absent.
He is indeed. He's missed 2 shows in the last 25 years.
Yeah, we'll make it 3.
Well, now we're at 3.
All right, Bob. Well, I think that only leaves us with one last little piece of business here, huh?
Oh, you get to talk about this. We got some wrestling to talk about.
Let me talk to you.
So my match actually comes from NXT, and it is Ilya Dragunov versus Dominic Mysterio, and that may be kind of a wild card, but good God, was it good! Everyone looks better working with Ilya Dragunov.
How good is that fucking guy?
He is unbelievable. Like, unbelievable. What a good match. Dominic's no slouch either. I can't, but like this was sort of like the like sort of I would say Dominic's crowning achievement of like sort of becoming one of the best ever chicken shit, like, but also in-ring performers. Like, it's really hard to be a chicken shit heel and also be a really good in-ring performer, and he's somehow meshing that together. That's not a skill his father has. Let's put it that way. Ray's never been a heel in his life, let alone a chicken shit.
No.
And I mean, he's doing Miz type stuff, but getting like just better at it. And I love the Miz. So yeah, that's my match of the week, because at this point you can kind of put Dominic in the ring with anybody and it's going to be great.
Listen, it's amazing, because if Derek was here, he wouldn't. He would be shitting all over you right now, at least trying to, because he's been on that hate Dominic Mysterio train since day one. But my man has made strides.
Well, and also, like, the crowd wants to see him get the shit beat out of him, and nobody is better at beating the shit out of you than Ilya Dragunov. Nobody makes you getting hurt look more realistic than Ilya Dragunov.
Maybe Gunther.
Okay, maybe Gunther, but like that's it. That's the list. We're gonna get that again, but that's it. That's the list, right? And the fact that they did that on NXT was just chef's kiss.
Well, for me, my match of the week was the main event on SmackDown. Solo Sikoa versus One LA Knight. Yeah. Hey man, I'm on the fucking hype train, pal, and I'm here for it.
Would be.
I thought it was a big time spot for him to be in after opening the show with Roman and John Cena. And the crowd fucking really getting behind him in that opening segment, and to go out there and look pretty goddamn good in the ring against a fucking opponent that I don't think has lost a singles match until Friday. I mean, it's a pretty big fucking deal. And
I think he did. I think he has lost one. It might have been by disqualification, though. So he may have been the first person to pin him.
Yeah, I don't think, like I said, I don't think he's lost a match at all. I mean, you may be right, but just either way, if it was by disqualification, being the first person to pin him, fucking big deal. Okay, because sure. Solo's a fucking best supporting actor right now, and he hadn't fucking said shit.
No.
So I think that he really took that spot from Jay, right? Like as the the pit bull, because you remember for a long time Jay was the pit bull. Now Solo is that guy.
And I think Solo's done a phenomenal job. So, yeah,
absolutely, big time. So I'll be interested to see what they do with this Roman Reigns LA Knight thing. I don't know, man. I just hope that LA Knight, if he is on the losing end of things, that he can keep some momentum and eventually he gets his opportunity, because I do feel that he fucking deserves it. But I don't think the time is not now.
Great week of wrestling then.
Yes.
I mean, 2 weeks actually. That's actually the reason we went last week. We didn't go. We didn't feel like we had to go because it was like wrestling was good. There was nothing to complain about.
I was traveling. It was a thing. It
was just we all watched it because like you were traveling and like I was kind of like I watched it all in succession because it was like I had stuff to do, but then I was like, and Derek watched it all too, and we were just like, wrestling was good, and we all went, yeah, and we were like, so we don't have anything to talk about, and it was like you were like, I'm about to get on a plane, and like I had a baseball game to go to, and there was a whole bunch of other shit going on, and it was just like, you know what, let's not have a happy go lucky show, but
yep.
I missed you though. I really did.
In
fact, that was really the heartache for me last week, was that I didn't get to hang out with you. I'm actually really sad I didn't get to hang out with Derek also. But that's I'm more used to, I think.
Yeah.
More used to that.
Becomes more and more friend of the show, like every fucking single week.
Thanks, friend of the show, Derek Wright. It was nice.
Yeah, no doubt. Appreciate you, pal.
We miss you, buddy. We miss you.
Sorry about it,
Sorry about it.
Hey, man, so we're gonna get up out of here. Listen, if you're still hanging out with us, we appreciate it. Go ahead, hit that thumbs up button. Even consider hitting that little subscribe thing with the bell that goes ding, ding, ding. That'd be really cool. Check us out over on Twix and Instagram at @1_Fall WC. That's ONE. And if you're hanging out with us anytime, anywhere, we appreciate you. So with all that being said, thanks for hanging out. It's all love. We'll catch you next week. One Fall WrestleCast.
They should listen to us